All right, Jeff. So far, we've talked a lot about the features of Python.
We sure have.
So now we're going to move on to the environment required for Python to be installed and used.
Okay.
But before we proceed further, let's look at the versions of Python.
Okay.
So the stable versions of Python are Python 2.7.8 and Python 3.4.1. Python 3.5 is under development at the time of recording this module.
Python 3.0 does not maintain backward compatibility with the older versions of Python. So in other words, code developed for Python 2x may not work with Python 3x and vice versa. Because much code and so many libraries have been developed for Python 2x, most of the programmers in the scientific community still use 2x.
Right. Now, Python supports both 32 and 64-bit server installation. Right. So in Windows, it supports for Windows XP or later. In Unix or Linux, it supports Fedora, Debian, OpenSUSE, Slackware, and Ubuntu. Memory requirements for Python are very small. So we're talking about gigs of memory. Python is content with 512 megabytes RAM, but I personally recommend 2 gigs for better performance.
I will take that recommendation.
Yep.
Python is somewhat similar to Java in terms of extending to different platforms like Windows, Linux, Mac OS X, OS 2, Amiga, even Palm handhelds, and even on Nokia mobile phones. It has an active open source development that innovates on a continuous basis.
So as a developer, you would want an integrated development environment, or IDE. You would not want to program in native mode. So let's see some of the highly rated IDEs of Python. We will have a demo on how to install and use one of them. Komodo Ide and Edit is a full-featured development environment GUI. Komodo has features such as syntax, coloring, text editing, debugging, etc. Komodo offers advanced features such as project files, source control, integration, and regular expression debugging. So you can try this out during the 21-day free trial.
Cool. Eclipse PyDev is an advanced open source IDE GUI. Eclipse is a multi-level language supporting platform. It's very popular among developers and on campuses. It was developed as a Java IDE. Eclipse supports Python development only when you install the PyDev plugin. It offers some features such as code completion, syntax highlighting, syntax analysis, refactoring, debugging, the list goes on.
NetBeans IDE is a community-driven effort. NetBeans is a powerful open-source development environment GUI. NetBeans' advanced features for Python are code completion, automatic indentation, code colorization, editor hints, code folding, refactoring, debugging, code coverage and testing, projects, and more. NetBeans develops both CPython and Jython code. NetBeans requires installation steps similar to Eclipse. However, Oracle does not actively play a part in it.
That's right.
So in other words, Oracle won't directly support this effort.
And here's another one, Wingware's Python IDE. WingID is a commercially created programming language for Python. It supports both versions of Python 2x and 3x. Also, it can be used with Django, Matplotlib, Zope, Plone, App Engine, PyQt, PySide, WXPython, PyGTK, TKinter, Mod, WSGI, Pygame, Maya, Motion Builder, Nuke, Blender, and many other Python frameworks.
Wow.
Boa Constrictor is a cross-platform Python IDE and WXPython GUI builder. It offers you visual frame creation and manipulation and advanced debugger, integration help, and again, many other different cool benefits.
Now, Stanny's Python editor, SPE, is also a cross-platform IDE for Python developed and managed by Stanny Michaels. SPE is a free software that runs on GNU Linux, Mac OS X, Microsoft Windows, and it's based on WXPython. SPE is available under GNU General Public License. So some features of SPE are auto indentation and completion, call tips, syntax coloring and highlighting, UML viewer, class explorer, source index, to-do list, PyCrust shell, file browsers, drag and drop, and Blender support. SPE ships with WXGlade, PyChecker, and Kiki.
A lot of cool names there. Python comes with a nice interactive development environment as well. Idle has been wrapped together with the default implementation of Python language. It's an optional part of Python and with many Linux distributions. It is written in Python and TKinter GUI toolkit. Idle is a beginner's IDE, especially for educational purposes. Now in the demo you're going to see, we will be using Idle and we'll also show how to install a Python plugin in NetBeans IDE.
So there are 3 ways to run a Python program and execute it.
Do tell.
Python programs are executed by an interpreter.
Mhm.
So if Python is installed on your computer, you can enter the program on the command prompt. Then you can start coding right away in the interactive interpreter by starting it from the command line.
Right.
You can do this on any platform that provides command line interpreter or shell window. For Unix Linux, use $Python or Python%. In Windows DOS, use C:\Python. There are some built-in command line options to perform operations.
Now, the second way is by using command line. A Python script can be executed at command line by invoking the interpreter on your application. For Unix Linux, you should use $Python script.py or Python %script.py. For Windows DOS, you can use C:\Python script.py. Should always use that, in fact. Always be sure that the file permission mode allows you to execute.
Okay, so the third way is by using an integrated development environment. Now, this is the most sought after means to develop and execute Python programs. You can run Python from a graphical user interface, GUI environment.
You know what we should do?
What?
We should actually take a moment and show how to run our first Python program. Want to do that?
Great.
All right, let me get the laptop open here. I'm going to use an interactive mode to demo this. Now, I have created a file with the name helloworld.py. Now note that Python programs end with the extension .py. I wrote a simple script to display hello world in the prompt window. Now I just used print statement to print the output. Now to execute the helloworld.py file, I provided the file name to the interpreter as follows. And you'll see it right here. It's %Python helloworld.py. It automatically executes the file and displays the output as hello world.
Huh.
Yeah, this is the simplest and easiest way to execute a Python program. Python programs can also be executed on Unix. You can use hash exclamation point on the first line of the program and it displays the same output. The interpreter runs statements until it reaches the end of the input file. Now, if it's running interactively, you can exit it. To exit the interpreter, type EOF or end of file, put that character or select exit from the pull-down menu of a Python IDE. In Unix, you can use Control-D for Windows, Control-Z to exit.